If you feed your methodology documents into ChatGPT, is it gonna replace you as a consultant from engaging with your client? This is the danger of just feeding the documents into ChatGPT and asking it to understand them. This is the wrong way. And let me explain you why this doesn't work. Actually, this approach is totally the wrong one because this doesn't help the machine to understand your methodology. What happens actually is, first of all, the machine receives your text and AI scans your documents. It recognizes the common terms, similar terms, also synonyms, and can understand somehow which are the words you're using, your voice and writing tone, and what you're talking about. So, using all of these as brain, but it's not thinking brain, it tries to give you answers into your questions. What surprised you positively is that it uses your own terminology, but in fact, the responses are not reasonable. You can really understand that, but just bringing really, really critical questions, questions that can push the AI into the limits, and you will realize that it has no understanding of your methodology. Secondly, when we feed huge and log documents into LLMs, they don't scan the entire documents. Actually, what happens is that they start scanning very, very seriously and very deeper the beginning and the end. And in the middle of those documents, they just do a quick scan. This helps them to give us responses faster. So they look smarter on our eyes when we're using on the browser. That's why they behave like that. But the thing is that the machine does not understand your concept. On the other side, your framework is developed with a combination of concepts and connections. You have a couple of concepts related with each other or related with a couple of facts. So you can connect those concepts with each other through arrows, like the graph I'm showing you in here. So what you have to do is actually to split your entire framework from a text into a list of concepts and relationships between those concepts. Now, it's not only the concept. There are a couple of other information related with the concepts, which are also very valuable for the model. For example, what is the question you bring to the conversation with your client to recognize a specific concept or a specific situation? What is the problem your specific concept from methodology actually solves? When it's gonna be failed, or when this is useful? These kind of critical questions for every single piece of your methodology are very, very important to extract this information from your methodology documents. Now, extracting this information, you can go and create a diagram, which actually, this is it. It's a visual version of concepts and relationships. You don't really need it. We just need to extract them as information, even on a markdown file or in a CSV file, so you can reuse them as a digital version, as a brain of your methodology. So let's focus on how you're gonna extract this information and not how you're gonna use them. So to extract them, you have, first of all, feed to your favorite LLM. It doesn't matter, by the way, if it's ChatGPT or if it is Claude or whatever it is. Just feed your methodology and then bring the critical questions. Those questions that matter for you, so we can see how the model extracts this information. Now, the model wants to be our best friend. It wants to keep you happy. So for all of those questions, it's going to give you an answer. The thing is, how confident it is giving you this answer, and how really, really well written is this answer. Now, so the next step is to really, really push the model to give you more accurate results with higher confidence. And I would suggest to enrich the most you can all those responses, because the questions you give and the responses you have, you can understand from the quality of those and the combination how well your model understood your methodology. And that's the point. From there, what you can do is to test the output. When you feel, okay, this output may work for me, let's go and test it. How you can go and test it? Just bring another question. Or you can actually feed your client questions and see how the model that uses this as a brain answer the client questions. When you validate that your LLM understood your concepts and their relationships, you can export it into CSV or into a markdown file. I would totally recommend into a markdown file because these files are easier for the model to scan them and check them. And then you can feed this markdown file into another LLM conversation, creating a new project, and ask the model to use this as a source of truth to answer the questions and bring the questions. Now, what you achieved is you converted your methodology into a knowledge base. This is actually what I'm showing you right now, a combination of those concepts related with each other. This is what we call graph database, and this is a knowledge graph, which is the visual presentation of a graph database. I know this sounds so technical, and trust me, there's no reason to spend time in understanding this thing for your first step. The first thing is to get into the conversation with AI and feed it your documents and validate it can understand this information. And this is what I did also here. All those things are the output from my steps with the explanation into conversation with ChatGPT. I would totally encourage you to get into that, invest 1 hour of your time and get into that. Let me know for your results, and I'm always happy to answer your questions. Thanks.